Whether you're preparing for when you get your key, or you already have one but just aren't familiar with all the abilities, here are all the agents and their abilities in Valorant in 5 minutes. So far there are 10 agents, each categorized into one of 4 categories. To simplify, duelists consist of Phoenix, Jett, and Raze, who are supposed to be more aggressive or potential fraggers. Sentinels are Cypher and Sage, who are essentially defenders or meant to be in the backline. Controllers are Brimstone, Omen, and Viper, overall support characters that are meant to block lines of sight. And lastly, initiators, such as Breach and Sova, to gather intel and make round influencing decisions. Starting off with duelists, we have Phoenix, my personal favorite. He has a curveball flash grenade that can be thrown around corners, a fireball grenade that does damage to others, and a fire shield that can block off key choke points. Both the fireball and the firewall heal Phoenix if he stands in the flames. His ultimate allows him to clone himself, leaving a set point to which he will return when your clone either runs out of time or gets shot down. Whichever comes first, you will then return to your marker with full HP. The second duelist is Jett. Being able to dash in all 4 directions as well as dash up to reach higher ground, she's a very mobile agent. She can also float, allowing her to glide over to different parts of the map and even negate fall damage. She also has smoke grenades and an ultimate that gives her kunais where she can fire all at once or one at a time. The last duelist, being Raze, has sticky C4 that can either be self-detonated or blown off on a timer. She also has a cluster grenade that can be thrown or tossed that will explode once and then follow up with a cluster of smaller grenades. And then this cute guy, who will act like your little Roomba and track down enemies until it explodes, giving up its life like Chaozu. And her ultimate is a rocket launcher. Moving on to Sentinels, we have Cypher, who has a sticky camera that can shoot a single ping shot, as well as a cyber cage that can block vision and slow enemy movement. His trap wire is a laser trap that will slow down, mark, and stun the enemies that cross through it without shooting it on time. His ultimate allows you to go to a dead enemy body and use them to mark all the remaining enemies' locations. Sage plays a similar defensive style with her slow orbs that are meant to slow down those who walk in them. She also has her barriers that can block out rotations unless shot or knifed, and her healing orb that can be used to either heal herself or other teammates. Her ultimate allows her to revive a dead teammate. Moving on to controllers, we have Brimstone, who has a Molotov grenade launcher that can hurt enemies as well as yourself. He also has 3 smoke grenades that can be called via his iPad, and a stim beacon that allows for increased fire rate, faster reload, and better aim recollection. The perks of the stim beacon will apply once you're in the vicinity of it, and will not disappear when you leave the vicinity. And his ult is, well, it's this shit. Kinda reminds me of something. Omen is able to teleport, throw smoke grenades that can even pass through walls, and throw his paranoia to reduce the vision of all enemies it touches. His ultimate allows him to teleport to any spot on the map. Last for controllers, we have Viper, who has a poison gauge that monitors how much fuel she has across both her smoke grenades and her toxic screen, both which can be activated and deactivated. Her snake bite is a grenade type poison bubble that will hurt anyone that stands in it, yourself included. And her ultimate is a giant poison smoke cloud that will stay up as long as you remain inside of it to recharge its meter. Your poison smoke screen, smoke grenades, and poison ult will all bring enemies' health lower and lower, but it will never kill them. If the enemies leave, their health will return back to what it was prior to entering your poison. And lastly, initiators. Breach, probably the hardest character to get good at, is mainly for those with supreme map knowledge, as many of his abilities are meant to go through walls. This includes his flash grenades and his aftershock. His other ability is Fault Line, which is a seismic blast that will daze all players in the area, and his ultimate is essentially a bigger version of that, as it will knock up and daze enemies caught within. And lastly, we have Sova, the white Hanzo that can use his bow and arrow to either send out a recon bolt that will ping all enemies in the vicinity, or a shock bolt that will damage enemies in the area. Both bows can be sent to bounce either 0 times, 1 time, or 2 times. He also has a flying drone that can shoot a single ping marker, similar to Seifer's, on nearby enemies. And his ultimate allows for super destructive bow shots that can be fired through walls. Be careful, as you only have 3. All of these abilities are subject to change, as this is a closed beta, but there are a ton of different tactics you can do with each ability. I did not dive into those, however. I was just trying to introduce the basics for new players. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to sub for more gaming content, and now let's dash to the next video.